So we said in this class we are going to look at auto layouts and how to use that to build responsive design. Before I continue, is there any question you want to ask? Any question as regards what we did last? Okay, so I think the question. So let's just start. First of all, we've already talked about what responsive design is and all of that. Now what is auto layout? Auto layout is just a feature in Figma that we mostly use, that we use to make our work easy, and we use them to make adjustment automatically. So before, you know that before when you want to create a button, you get your rectangle and then you get a text. So the good thing about this is that, no, the bad thing, sorry, not the good thing. The bad thing about this is you can decide that today you want to change this particular button. You don't want this button to be register, and you now want something like a register now. Now, once I start to edit this and add the register, this is the register, and I say register now, you'd see that I won't be able to use this button like this until I get to align this. And aligning this, I'll get to start aligning it manually. So before, this is what this is how we create a button, or this is how some persons still create a button till date, until auto layout came, until they release that auto layout feature. Now you'll be able to do all of these things, make all of these changes without the initial design changing shape or anything. You still maintain the same line spacing. It's still going to maintain all of that. Now, how do you apply auto layout? To apply auto layout, it's very simple. It's either you use your Shift A to apply auto layout, or you right click and you get to select auto layout to apply it. Now let's look at the things that you get to see in auto layout. The first one is the direction. So can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first one is the direction. So firstly, let's have a text and add auto layout. So let's say this is our register now button, or this is our register button. So for us to have auto layout, I just need to do like a Shift A to create my auto layout. Now the first thing you need to note is direction. In auto layout, we have different direction. We have the right direction, that's the horizontal. We have the vertical direction, and we have the horizontal direction, and the new set of direction, which is wrap. Now for wrap, you can have different. So for horizontal, let's say I have these three, and I get to add auto layout to all of them, and I say Shift A. Now for my direction, this is already horizontal, I can make it vertical, or I can wrap it. When it's in vertical, I can wrap it. So normally what this wrap does is it takes all of these elements, and if you have them, you can get to arrange them very well down. So I have more than 5 elements. I want them to arrange. So I can use this wrap feature to arrange all of them. So that's what it does. But most times I get to use, or you mostly get to use this to do your alignment. So that's it for direction, the two side of the two direction. And then the next thing you get to see is the space between. What is the space between? It's just the padding. It's just like the spaces that you have between each item. Now we can see that we have 30 and 40 here. If we get to reduce it, you can reduce the space between, or choose a particular space that you want to always use. Now the next thing you get to think about is the padding around items. So for this is the horizontal padding. So once you can see that it's on 0. So once I add let's say I want to do 20 and I want to do 10 here. So it's always advisable that your horizontal should be ×2 of your vertical. So if your vertical is 10, your horizontal should be 20. If your vertical is 24, your horizontal should be 12. So that's like a standard that we need to actually do. Now, the next thing you get to know in auto layout is direction. You get to see alignment and distribution. Sorry, for alignment and distribution, you can get to align your designs anyhow you want to align it. You can align all to the left, to the center. What the center is going to do is going to make all your designs stay in the center. Then top is going to make your design stay on top, and top, center, all of these various alignments that you get to do. Now, another thing you get to check in auto layout is the resizing feature. Now, for the resizing, oh, okay. So, like I said, that it's always very advisable that for your horizontal should always be ×2 of your vertical. So just take it as X. Your vertical is X. When X is 5, ×2 of X should be 10. When X is 20, ×2 of it should be 40. So that's what you just need to put into consideration when you're trying to do your padding around your designs. Now, the next one is the resizing properties. For resizing properties, we have 3 of them. The first one is the fixed heights and fixed widths. Just like the name implies, if I want to if I fix this width, or if I use that particular property of fixed width, what it means is that anything that is in the element should remain the same. So whether I change anything, it should be fixed. The items should be fixed. So let's say if you set it to 45, no matter how you change it, it should just be fixed. Then for all content is just saying that, okay, anything I'm doing, the padding should remain the same, and you cannot adjust the padding between them should remain the same, but you can adjust the width and the height of the elements within it. So when we start doing when we start creating different things from auto layout, you get to understand it. So for fixed width, you want everything to be fixed, no matter the changes you make. For all content, you want your elements to be able to adjust, but then you should be able to occupy the space of, let's say, your container, but then you can adjust the width and the height of the internal elements. That's all the elements in it. And we have the fill container, where it takes, let's say if I have the 500, space is 500, I want it to fill the container to be able to spread. So let's take this to just like you have a bowl and you're using it to fetch water. When you say fixed, you just want to put a cup of water in it, and you don't want it to increase or anything. But then when you say you should fill the container, you're trying to fill everything in it. So then the next one is resizing and constraint, where you get to resize on top. You get to resize your elements, top, bottom, anyhow you want to resize them. So let me pick a frame, for instance. So let's say this is my frame, and I want to have an element like this. Now you can see the constraint where you can fix your elements to either the top or the right, the left, anyhow you want to fix it. You can decide to say, okay, once I'm doing this, I should fix this to the right, I should fix this to the left, center, and all of that. Then we have the absolute positioning in design. So assume that you have, let's say you want to do a notification bar, and you have something like a notification icon, and you do like a box or a circle with a figure in it. You say, okay, you do this and you add 2 to it. So once you add 2, you would want they are now side by side, but you want these 2 to come on, you want this to be on top of this. Then you use the absolute positioning for it in auto layout. So you get to add auto layout to both of them, and then you get to go to the y-axis and change the settings till it reaches where you want it to be. Okay, so for constraints, it's like, let's say when it comes to responsive design, and when we get there, I'll get to explain it. Let's say, for instance, you have all of these elements in your designs. You have this, let's say this is your logo, and you have this as your text. And then you have this as your sign up logo or sign up buttons. So let's say you have these three. Let me try to adjust them. Let me use manual to tidy it up. So I have these three designs, or I have these three things, and this is my nav, this is my logo, this is my nav bar, this is this. And remember that this is a frame. Once I start moving it, you would see that everything is moving together, right? Like nothing is, if I close it, I won't get to see what the elements that are here. So with constraints, you can get to fix a particular property. So I can decide to say, okay, this should be left and right, or this should be left. So once I do left and I try to change this frame, can you see what just happened? Because I fix my constraint to the left, is still there. So for this particular one, yeah. So for this particular one, for let's say for my what's it called? For my sign up button, I can decide to fix my constraints to the right. So now once I fix it to the right, you will notice that once I start changing it, you see that it's moving. It's moving with what I want. Then I can now decide to also, okay, this is my constraint. I'm going to fix it to the center. Now, if I move this thing, you will see that it will move together. Can you see how it's moving together? So this is because I did not even use auto layouts for all of this. I just used the constraints to be able to set it. So I fixed a particular thing to the top. So you mostly use it for nav bars too. So you can decide to have a nav bar on top, and let's say you have a scrolling effect. Like once I'm scrolling on the website, I still want my nav bar to be on top. I can just decide to use constraints to fix it on top, and then it will just stay on top. No matter how I move my elements, it will still remain on top. So the different constraints that we have is, you can see it center, left and right, scale, and all of that. So with time, you get to actually know how. So if you want to even start designing responsive design, this is, for this now, this particular part is responsive now, even though I've not added auto layout. Now, if I add auto layout and say and resize it, it's going to give me the size that I want it to give me. But just without even adding auto layout, with constraints, you can fix your screen to, let's say I don't have a center. These two will just be reducing. You can see it. The same thing if I move this, the position and all of. So are we clear on that? Are we clear on that? Or there's another question? Okay, we are clear on that. So what can you use auto layouts to do? You can use auto layouts to create a simple button. I've said it before. Um, okay, so you can use auto layouting. So let's just button, even if I know that it's on right now. So for the layout, I can just see register now, same thing that I register now, and I just need to do shift A, and after a a 24. So like I said, I'm sorry guys for that. So like I said, you can use it to create a button. So now I need to add a few to my button. So all I need to do, please confirm that you can hear me. So all I need to do is, all I need to do is to add a field to my button, and then I change the text within it, and get to set everything I want to set. Let's say 10. I want to give this a 10% corner radius or a 5% corner radius if I feel like it's the 10% is too much. Now this is my button. So this is where you now get to think about all of these features. Now see something. If I get to move my button, if I get to do like this, you can see that this is the horizontal resizing is fixed and the vertical resizing is on hub. So for the horizontal resizing, you can see how it is. So let's say for instance, this is how you would know when it works. Let's say for instance, you want to now start writing so many things. Say register your free account. Can you see that because this is in hug, it's not actually it's as you're typing, it's leaving the environment. But if I change this to change if I change this text here now to fixed. Okay, let me duplicate this button first before we start that, so that we'll get to see the difference. Now let's say I have this. Now you can see the resizing, which is this one, it's on fixed, right? It's on fixed. Horizontal resizing is on fixed. Vertical resizing is on fixed. So that means once I'm typing anything I'm typing, which is register your free account, you can see that it's, instead of it to be expanding to contain this, is still fixed. But then if I come here and I change this to whole content and I change this to whole content, you will notice that once I start typing register your free account. Now, what is the difference between fixed and all content from what you've been able to see? Somebody just tell me what difference you think. What's the difference between fixed and whole content from these two examples? The first one was on fixed, and the second one is on all content.
Ma.
Oh, yeah, sure, you can.
Right. So for the one we fixed, like as the text grew longer, it's the box or the text box or the auto layer frame did not increase because its resizing it's fixed. But for the one we hugged, it increased and shrinks as you are entering longer or shorter text into the layout.
Oh, okay. So there are times where I get to set my buttons to fix, especially when I know that the only item I'm going to have is login and login, for instance. I fix my items to I fix it to fix. Let's say I have login and the next one I should have is something like sign up, right? So let me duplicate this, Control D, and the next thing I have is like a sign up. Sign up. You can see that it can contain the both of them. This is on fixed, right? If I reduce this thing from sign up to up, so the text is on all content. Let me work on the frame itself. The frame is on fixed. So anything I do, it will just be fixed. But if I change this thing now to all contents, because I have just up or I have just one, it's going to reduce to take just one. So when you want to have fewer items, most times I prefer that you put your frame to what's it called, to fixed, so that if you're doing sign up and login, no matter how you type, your buttons will be equal. Because one thing about whole content is if you type a smaller element, it's going to reduce to small. So let's say for instance, for this all content now I put one, you can see that it has reduced to one. It has reduced the button size to just one. So this is like the basic, and the next thing you can use auto layout to create is you can use it to create a card. Which should we go get to that, or let's move on, because we have another thing that we need to quickly do today, especially using auto layout for tables and how to make it responsive. How many persons don't know how to create cards using auto layout? So every person here knows how to use it. Please, I don't want to assume. Do we all know how to create cards using auto layout? Okay. Since nobody is responding, let's now. I think you said it's small. Okay, so for the purpose of those that don't know how to use it, I'm going to create it in class here now. So how do you create auto layout with card? First thing first, let's say I want to use, remember that a card consists of your image. Let's say if it's a product card, it consists of your image, an icon, your buttons, and all of that. So let's start with bringing in my image. I'll bring in an image from I don't have any image in my laptop. Oh, okay, let me quickly download one and say food. Um I want to use fine food, very fine food. Okay, okay, okay. All right, so this is it. This is what I need. Okay, so I'm going to be using this image. So let's say I have this particular image. Should I change this to black and say okay? So I have this particular image. Let's change this to say a gray background, because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so let's leave it at this. Say it's not fine. Abby, let me look for something different. Oh boy. More, I'm just going to use this one. That first one is not fine. So I have this image and I'm done bringing it. Always remember to hold down shift where you're trying to resize your image so that you don't get to over resize and all of that. Now, say I have this. What's the next thing I need to have? I need to have like a text to say what's this? Hey, what's the name of this food? Burger. I don't know if it's hamburger or just burger. So I'm just going to type anything. Let me just say hamburger. Wait, oh, hamburger is the icon. Hamburger is the icon. This is burger. Okay, let me zoom in my screen and say burger. Don't mind me, I don't eat this, so I don't even know the name. I don't eat it, so I don't know the name. So since you guys say it's the same, let me just zoom. Hamburger. Maybe we should give it a fancy name. Hamburger la. That's what this is what our restaurants used to do to us. Where they'll just write something that is the same thing and collect plenty money from you just because just because they added one new thing to the name. So let's say we'll make this a semi bold and just increase the size to like is 16 pixel. So I have this, and then I want to be able to have another thing here, which is let's say a cat button. So let me just or let's just leave it at this, and I'm going to right click and get like a plugin lorem into. So I'll just get a frame and put it here. I'll reduce this to 14 and I'll make this irregular, and then I'll auto generate. So once I'm done generating it, I'll get to arrange it because this is a nonsense element. I'll just get to arrange it like this. Then I'll check the spacing between them. If it's good, fine. If it's not good, I leave it like that. So let's say this is what I don't like the way this is looking. So let me try to okay. So so say I have this. What again do I need to have here? Uh, there's no need to have this last paragraph. So let me remove it. And okay, yes, I need to have price. So for the price, I might want to just leave it. So let's say I want to have the price somewhere around here. So I'll just duplicate this, and I would say this is let's say this is $20. So I want my price to stand out. So I might just want to reduce this to a medium and leave my price like this. So next thing, I don't want to remember not to always use pure black, or remember not to use pure black in your design. So I'm just going to change this to this, and so for quantity is yeah, I can also include a quantity. The quantity, sorry. So the quantity can be somewhere here, a plus on it or a minus stuff. So for now, let's just leave quantity and just do a button. So let me do a button, an auto layout button, and say buy now. And this is 16 semi bold shift A, center, the spacing between is 10, this is 20. I'm sure going to increase the button like this, and make it a 10, and add a few color to it. Maybe choose a color for a button. I don't know why I like blue, but let's go. Okay, I might choose a button for a color from this. Oh, okay. So I'll make this white. The text in it, I'll make it white, and I have this. So how do you create a button, an auto layout button? So a card. So I'm just going to let me make my image to be 10 for some reason to make it more friendly. Then I'm going to shift A this, and add shift A this again, shift A, and then I can now add what I want to add here, 12, and I'll make this 6, and I'll make this 10 too, and I'll make our card. I'll add a few color to our card. So you can see that the top it's not equal. Yeah, I said that you all should always make it times 2, but there are some this thing exception. So for this, there's something I noticed here. I noticed that this is not centralized, so I'll centralize my whole button and text. But if you start dragging it, what can you notice? You notice that it's not yet responsive. Now, for you to make it responsive, you now have to start, you would have to start changing all of these things one after the other. So I'm going to make this a field container, and I'll make it a field container. So for this, it's all content. I'll make it a field container. I'll make it a field container. I'll make it a field container. I'll make that one all. For this one, I'm just going to make it whole content. So sorry, I'm going to make it field container also. So once I start dragging it, you can see that my image is already responsive, but this is not responsive. So I'll change this to hub content, and let's see, it's still not responsive. So I'm going to change it to field container instead, and field container. So for this field container, it's going to be responsive now, but I would have to reduce this a bit. Then the reason why I want to use all content for this is so that so once I start typing, you notice that once I start typing, it's not actually responding to anything I'm doing. So I'll get to make this a okay. So there's something, I'll make this a shift A. So I'll make it a shift A. So first of all, you can see that I did not actually make this auto layout. So let's just fix to it and then type it. It's still not working. So maybe because I did not make it an auto layout. So let's say all content is not working actually, because all content is not supposed to work here. This is supposed to be field container also. So for field container, you can see that my card, my image, and my button, they are now responsive. It's just remaining my okay. So for this, okay. So what we need to work on now is this frame and this frame. So let me get to okay. So is this, so sometimes, oh, it should be aligned. So I did not even add auto layouts to this. So let me duplicate this and ungroup all of them and just get to do them back. Ungroup. So this is this. So I'll make this a shift A too. I'm going to reduce this. I'll say 0, 0. So I have this. So this should be whole content. Yeah. So I can now do my shift A. So this button is this, and align this to this. And then let me add my shift A again, my auto layout shift A. Make this 10, and then I'll make this 12, and I'll make this 12, and I'll add my color to it, and so we are done with this part. So this should be in the center, and first thing, remember that this is supposed to be field container. This is supposed to be field container. This is supposed to be field container, and this is supposed to be field container too. So let's check it out. Okay, field container. So we'll have to fix this, like we'll get to fix it here. Oh, okay. Think I've been doing, so where this is the frame, right? This frame should be all content, and this frame should be all content. Yeah. So I really don't know why none of the feature is working for me, but what is supposed to work is all content. All content is supposed to few container, sorry, is supposed to work for this particular text. But I'll get to figure it out. Can someone just do it for me so I end? Start from afresh and so if there's something you notice here is my constraint is not going to. Oh yeah, true. It's showing. So, but if I click on my text, you see that my constraint is not showing. So constraint won't show for individual text and all of that. It's just going to show for this particular one. And if you say you want to set the constraint to right and left and right, let's see this. You'd see that it's still taking the same. So what you need to fix or what needs to be fixed is just okay, yeah. Let me share the link. Okay. Yep. Oh. 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 So the fact that not all of the what's it called? All of the fixed width, fixed height, no one is even working for me. That's what is getting me surprised. Okay, so sorry.
Hi, Buma.
Hello.
I'm sorry, what exactly are you trying to achieve?
Okay, so you can see that our card is responsive, right? But then our text is not responsive, which is not it. So this text is supposed to follow the same property of field container for it to be responsive, but now none is working. Like none of it is working, and you can't use constraints on your text.
So you want to make the text responsive as well.
Yes, the text is supposed to, it's not like I want to make it. The text is supposed to be responsive with your card. That's why it's a responsive design. You can see that the picture is responsive. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So
working.
one of the text is, but this second one is not.
Did you put the
Yeah,
text in field container?
I did.
Okay, I feel if you put everything in just the text and leave
Oh,
the
it's
It's
image.
working.
working now. Yep.
It's working.
Please, what did you do just now?
So the text is like I said, the text is supposed to be, everything is supposed to be field container, you get, including
Exactly.
your image. Your image is supposed to be field container, but that's what I've been doing since, and it's not working. But now it's now working. So I don't know anything Figma did, and kudos to them. So
Later,
this is,
just working on its own.
yeah, so this is it.
Oh, that's nice. That's what I
So
was about to suggest. Field container would have been the
yeah,
best.
field container is what we've been using since that was not working.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is it. So you get the concept. Take one image
Quick,
first.
quick
You want to
question,
ask a
please.
question? Oh, okay.
Yes. Do you have to add field container to each element?
Yes. So the elements you
Awesome.
have inside of the frame, the auto layout frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's it. So the good thing about this is you can get to resize and all of that. So you can see that the top is not working, and which you're going to use this thing to fix that. You're going to use where is it? My constraint has just disappeared from nowhere. So you can use constraint to now check all of this and all of that. So this is fixed all content, and you can just, once you do a particular card, you can use different things to ensure that you can resize it and you see that it's responsive everywhere. Now, so this is for card. Now you remember that if you're designing a dashboard, first of all, if you're designing a dashboard, you would want to make your this thing. Let's say I want to have a dashboard. I want to design a dashboard. So you know that when you're designing a dashboard, there are some elements that involves the table, and you need to design those tables. So let's start by designing a table. For your design. So first thing first, you want to get a table. So the first thing first, I'm going to create a frame. Just drag a frame and I'll keep it here. So this is my frame, and the next thing I need to do is I need to have a table on my frame. So I need to delete all of these things. Sorry, guys. So let me go to another page so that I don't get confused with all of these things that I say. So I have a frame, right? And I decide to put a size. Remember that you would have a size that you want to use for it. So let's say I use this particular size, or I use a 1000, depending on what you want to get. So 1100, any size you want to use. It's now based on what you want to be able to achieve. So why is this 1000 looking so big for me? So let me leave it like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this as my table, for instance, and then I'll hit shift A auto layout. I'll add auto layout to it, and I'll add my auto layout to it. Then you can get to resize all of this based on what you want to do. First of all, I'm going to make this a fixed height and a fixed width. So I've made it a fixed height and a fixed width. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll pick up my text tool, and I'm going to type I'm going to say what kind of table are we creating. Let's say we want to create a table of name. Should I use name first? Let me use name. So I want to create a table of name. So we'll get to edit it as we go further. So I have name, and then the next thing I'll do is I'm going to add auto layout to it. So I'll say shift A. I'm going to rename this to be my header. This is my header. Then I'm going to put all of everything that I want to put. I'll first of all change I'm going to change it to fixed height. Then I'm going to make this like a 40. I'm going to make it a 40. That's the height to be 40. And then I'll add 12. Then I'll make this 24, and I'll make this a 12. So I have this now. You can add a color. So let me just add a color to it to be able to differentiate what I have here. So let's use this color, but we'll use a shade of it. This. So say I have this now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my main table, and after clicking on my main table, I'm going to change the padding and everything here to 0. Space between 0. I'll just change everything to 0, and I'll make this 0, so that it's going to take the top of my padding, you get. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this particular frame. So I'm going to duplicate it, and so I'm going to create my item. So I'm just going to rename this from header to be my item. So this is like my item cell. So after I create this, for this I'm going to change this size to be like a 40, a 60, or any of that. And then the next thing I'll do is I'm going to take this tool, and I would add shift A to it. I'm going to add auto layout to it. Then I will make it down here. So let's say for name. So by the time we are done with everything, that's where we now start renaming everything you want to rename. So remember that there should be no space between it. Then I can duplicate. So these two now, I'm going to rename these two as So I have, this is the first one and this is the second one, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold these two and I'll give it a shift A and I'm going to call it, oh, I already did it. So this is it. Sorry, I went to add another auto layout. So I'm going to call this my column. This is going to be my column, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll just duplicate this, Control D till I have what I want to have. And then I'll just duplicate this now, duplicate this, and there is no space between all of them. This is my column, this is my column, this is my column, this is my column. So now I'm going to select all of these. After selecting all of these, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this resizing order to fill container. So I've changed it to fill container. So what I'll do is I'll just hit enter. So after hitting enter, I just want to it to select all of the item frame. Then I'll also change this to fill container, and after filling it, now you can now start. So you see that I have all of these ones now. So I've actually done this. So now I want to select all of these items. That's the cell. I just want to select the cells and change the cells and all of that. And I want to change the color to white, to pure white. So you can start renaming all the cells here. Let's say you want to have something. So I'll select the table, then I can get to add, let's say, corner radius. That's if I want, sorry, not this, a corner radius. That's if I want to add the corner radius. Then I can do anything I want to do, like resizing the table to have all I want to have. Now let's say I've changed the colors of all of these, and let's say this is our main color for the table. And not select this one. So let's say this is, so what do we want to achieve with this particular table? We want it to be responsive, which it is. It is already responsive in here. The table is already responsive. So we've actually achieved what we want to achieve with it. So let's say you want to start adding different things. Say you want to add some elements inside all of this. Let's say, for instance, I want to be able to add, let me go to plugin and say, what plugins do you guys use for, what's it called? For icons. So I really don't like using plugins for icons. So I'll just get to, let me see, circle or checkbox. Okay, so I have these. So I have these, and let me reduce the size to 24 by 24. So I have these, and I want to drag it into this. I want to drag it into this particular frame, and all I need to do is to change this to this part. So I'll just copy it, Control C, copy this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll paste it and move it to this side. You can see that for anything you want to have, okay, iconify. So me, I don't like using icons from all of these places. I don't know why I don't like it, because I feel like I need to have a set of icons. So I just use my icon set to do anything I want to do. So now you can start changing this as say name, user ID, let's say the what is going to be let's say phone number, and then maybe a status. So before then, let's just create a status that we would want to use. So we can decide to now say, okay, let's create a status and do something like this. Make this a 20, and just write status. Let's say success, and so this for success, let's make it green. So this is just what I'm going to do, and Shift A, and I'll convert to components, and then I add a property, and I change a variant, and I say this one is field, or field, yeah, and I change this to red. So I have this, so I'll just come to my assets, and I'll just bring this in, and delete this. So this button is too big, but for this I'll just use it. So I'll delete all of this. So these elements are too big, please. This particular element is too big. This is not how to put it more. And then you can change anything you want to change here. So I say you can now change these to contain your what's it called, the different, okay, to field. So all of that. Now, depending on what you're doing with this table, so I can decide to now reduce this to fix here. So you can add lines if you want to add lines to it. Yeah, different states. So if you want to add lines to it, you can add your lines, add your just to make your table fine. So with this, now that you have this, if you have a dashboard and you need to include your table, you just need to carry your table, put it in let's say for instance this is our dashboard, a big dashboard, and in the dashboard you have a part for table where you need to bring in a table to show the number of people that have been joining the company, all of that. You can see how responsive it is. You just get to fill it in there, and you're done with your table design and everything you want to do. So is there any question? So you can resize it, reduce it, and all of that, and it's responsive. Any question? This thing is big. I did not look at this particular thing. I just use it to put it there. Okay, so none from you. So we can now make our design. We can now make our cards, our websites. So you can still do the same pattern for your website to convert it to your mobile view. So all you need to do is just to play around with all content, fixed height, constraint. For your constraint, if you want your navbar to be responsive, you have to do the logo should be put to left, and your login button or any other thing you have on the right should be put there. Then your text should be put to center. But then when you're doing for mobile view, you just know that even if you set all of those properties, you will not have the center view, that's the nav text. You will just have a hamburger icon, sorry, that you get to put it there and all of that. But if you play around with your play around with constraints, if you play around with auto layout, you'll be able to convert your designs from what it is to from the website. You'll be able to make it responsive to give you a mobile view. Then the only thing you need to now do at that point is to adjust one or two things. That if you even need to adjust it. So there's no question. Is there any other question? Any question so far? Okay, so how many persons have submitted their tax? So I'm going to stop recording here so that we can use the remaining time to talk about our tax.